Oh, I'm on my bed right now. Just got back from the doctor. The good news is my cutting seton finally came out. So I went to the doctor last Friday for tightening session, and then I was hoping the seton would come out then, but it didn't, so it was kind of disappointing. And then we just scheduled for surgery because that was my 6th session, and I guess another guy who started around the same time as me, his seton fell out that week or the week prior. And so the doctors were like, oh, yours should be coming out soon, and I was hoping it would come out during my actual appointment, and it didn't. So, not knowing how many more I would have to go to, we just decided to schedule, a surgery where I would just go in operating room, and it's not really like full fistulotomy. They'll just cut up to where the string is, but at that time we didn't know how deep the string is. Like, we would never know. Anyways, the doctor emailed me on Monday, and this is Wednesday now. So a couple days ago, doctor emailed me. She said, how's it going? How's your seton? And I was like, it didn't fall out yet. And at this point, I know when it's loose. Like, I know when it's not cutting through anymore. Like, when it's cutting through, like, this nasty gunk comes out. I mean, it's cutting through, like, the muscle and tissue, and it's really gross. And it hurts. But by Monday, I was like, oh, it's not even hurting. I mean, there was, like, sharp pain here and there. And then on Tuesday, I was like, okay, it's definitely not cutting through. Like, there's no pain, and I even, like, kind of pulled the string a little bit, and I was able to, like, move it back and forth, and I was like, it's really loose. So she asked me if I wanted to come in and try one more tightening before the surgery on Monday. And if it comes out anytime between now and even Sunday, we could cancel the surgery. So I was like, thinking about it. I was like, might as well. Surgery is $250, while these sessions are only $20, and I've already gone like 6 times, and I was like, wouldn't hurt to try one more time. I feel like it's so close, but at the same time, I was so hopeful for the last 3 sessions that, like, my level of hope started, like, dwindling down. Anyway, so I went in today, and nurses did the usual, put the ice pack on, spread the butt cheeks open, whatever. So painful. And the doctors, like, that's painful, and the doctors putting the shots painful. The tightening session itself is pretty painful too. You could feel it even if they give you local anesthesia. It's like, you could feel it. Anyways, but during the procedure, I heard a pop, and I was just like, I mean, it wasn't like a loud, like, pop, but it was something I heard, and I was like, oh. And then the doctors were like, oh my gosh, it came out, and oh my gosh, thankfully it came out. Summertime is a charm, I guess. And then the doctor showed it to me, but during that process, you're just so out of it. It's so painful that, if someone's talking to me, asking me questions, I cannot think. Like, at that time, my mind is just elsewhere. Like, I just can't think. And the doctor was, like, showing it to me, and he kind of, like, brought it on the side and showed me, and I think he threw it away. But the hole that was left was so small, so I can't believe, like, my muscle was, like, holding on to it. Like, it was so small. I think it was, like, maybe 2 millimeters in diameter, what was left, like, still holding on to my skin that had to get cut through, or muscle. Anyways, so I'm just so thankful that it came out. Now my surgery is canceled, and now it's just a process of healing. Anyways, today, I don't know, the in process, like, hurt the most. Like, there's just, like, parts of this procedure that hurts a lot. So when they, like, initially spread open your butt cheeks, and I realized that freaking hurts because, like, my wound is where the tailbone kind of is, butthole to tailbone, whatever. And every time they stretch open, I realize the skin behind my anus tears open like half an inch to an inch. So, I mean, I've been taking pictures of the area, and I mean, the wound closes up, and I'm like, oh yes, the wound closed up, and I'll be happy about it. But the whole that was left was so small, so I can't believe, like, my muscle was, like, holding on to it. Like, it was so small. I think it was, like, 2 millimeters in diameter, what was left, like, 2 millimeters in diameter. but this recently I decided to take pictures a little earlier, like the day after like my tightening, just to see like I just wanted to compare like where, if I could tell like if the seton is like close or not. You visually cannot see it, but I don't know, I was just taking pictures to see. And then I realized that skin that healed over, you know, over the past couple weeks was ripped open again, like half an inch to an inch. And I was just like, what the heck? That means like every time I've been going in, it'll kind of heal over and then rip open, heal, rip, heal, rip. So like this same area has been ripping open like 7 times now. Oh, anyways, that hurts. And then anyways, so when they initially spread you freaking open, that hurts because your skin, the wound is just like being stretched out. The tightening procedure hurts even though they give you shots. And then the doctor uses silver nitrate to like, it's supposed to like heal the wound, but it like burns the skin to, I think, activate to like heal. That freaking hurts. And right now I think that's what hurts. And then they're like, oh, we're trying to balance out the pH. Like I said, when you're in that much pain, you can't really hear what they're saying or understand what they're saying. It kind of just goes over your head. So doctor said something else besides silver nitrate. But anyways, like it hurts so much right now. This is kind of like the worst pain I've felt. Like my first surgery to do all this incision and drainage and the initial string going in and tightening, that hurt a lot for 2 weeks. But this one, the tightening sessions, like they've been hurting on and off. It was like, you know, bearable. And I'll take like pain medicine, but man, this one hurts a lot. So kind of wish I took the prescription medicine right now. I was gonna go back to work, but I couldn't do it. Like I'm in just so much pain. Like I just came home to lay down. I was gonna go to my friend's birthday dinner. That's not happening either. But anyways, I'm just so glad it's over. Hallelujah. What day is today? July 17. Oh, July 17 and 7th tightening session. 7 must be my lucky number. But oh man, I'm just so glad it's over. Now I only have like one more follow-up to check on the area, and then maybe another one after that, like in like a month or two, like in September or something. But anyways, that's my update. Hopefully I have no more news on this fistula. It's been a long journey, you know, from 2.5 years ago to getting like the reoccurrence late last year and early this year, to my botched surgery attempt back in February, 2 months of skin infection, and then 2 months of having an open wound the size of like a freaking $50, and then to finally getting an MRI and the right surgery in April. So the takeaway is, you know, you have to be comfortable with your doctor. Surgery, small or not, is a big deal. I'm glad I'm not going back into this operating room on Monday. You know, I trust the doctor and everything, but the whole process, you know, you have to meet an anesthesiologist. They tell you if you're gonna get general anesthesia or if you're gonna be sedated only, and then they ask you if you're allergic to rubber. Like for me, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not allergic to rubber, and then they're like, are you sure? And then, you know, when someone asks you if you're sure, then you're like, you suddenly feel not sure anymore. And they said you could get tested for it, get your blood drawn, but I didn't want to do that, so I was like, I'm pretty sure, and luckily I haven't died. So yeah, not allergic to rubber, but and then you get like an IV stuck in you, and then, you know, once you're out, because of my location of where my surgery is, or my problem area is, they turn me over and my butt's probably stuck up in the air for them to do, you know, do the operation. And I've come out of surgery with like pain on my head, like no bruise, but there's been pain on my head, forehead. Like I think I've had bruises on my arm. But anyways, you just don't even know what happens, and so I just don't like it. And then like when I had general anesthesia, like you know, you don't breathe, and they had a breathing tube down me, and my throat was hurting so bad for like a couple days. So surgery, all in all, I just don't like it. So I'm glad. Oops. So I'm glad that I'm done. Don't have to go back to the operating room or think about even surgery anymore. And my body's been doing pretty well healing. I think it's gonna take a good 2 weeks for this thing to close over. And that's what the doctor's gonna check up on, just to make sure the healing of that area is very small, but just to make sure it's going well and right. And I've continued to eat healthy, a lot of fruit, a lot of veggies, and protein. Like, I was actually really craving like burger or something with meat in it, but I'm not going out. Like, it hurts too much. I took Advil, but anyways, staying home. I had like some veggie burritos, so I just ate that with some fruit. But yeah, maybe I'll just try to eat some meat tomorrow. But anyways, so that's been like my diet, trying to eat a lot of fruit, vegetables, and protein. And I've been really conscious about that. And I haven't really been eating fast food. Like, normally I would eat a lot more fast food and fried food, like fried chicken, but I've been doing so well these past, 4 or 5 months. I've actually lost 6 pounds, and I've been able to continue that. And I've been going to Pure Barre, exercising maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And then, I'm like trying to prepare for my wedding, which is, I don't know, sometime in the next 6 months. So I mean, it's good for me to not have gone through this, but this really made me reevaluate my health and eat a lot better, and I'm sticking to it, so I'm happy with that. But you only get your body once, and sometimes things happen outside of your control, but you still need to take care of yourself and do what you can, so that you're like in the best possible position, like mentally, physically, spiritually, etc. Only you could do that. And being sick sucks. Like, even if you have a cold, and if it's only for 1 or 2 days, you could handle that. But if you have it for like 2 weeks, 2 months, or even like a more severe injury or pain, like, pain is what really cripples you. And now that I've gone through this, I have more empathy for people who has pain, or who have had long-term pain. And even my mom right now, she's getting older and she's showing a lot more health issues. So I'm trying to be more understanding and trying to look at things in their perspective. But anyways, yeah, my fistula journey, that was horrible. And if you are going through fistula, like, I guess in some sense I'm lucky that I didn't go through like the flap or the lift or fistulotomy, because there's a lot of people who go through that stuff and then it fails, and then, or they have bad doctors. If you have a bad doctor, or if you're not comfortable with your doctor, get a second opinion, get a third opinion until you find someone you're comfortable with. Like, a lot of people in that Facebook group, I don't know, like, I feel bad for them because they're not able to see their doctors. Like, at least for me, my doctors, like, they are caring, and then they will put a priority on having to meet me. They schedule all my appointments, and they want to make sure I'm getting better. But this Facebook group, like, a lot of people are having trouble finding a doctor, or like, doctor won't make time for them, or prolonging MRIs and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. And they're in places with like health care, like, yeah. But anyways, my advice is find a doctor that you're comfortable with. And I mean, even if you have to temporarily live in a city or be somewhere where you can readily have access to a rectal surgeon or something, because that's who you have to see. And yeah, another thing is some of these people live in like rural areas. I mean, not like third world countries, but I guess like small towns where there's no specialists and stuff like that. And this thing, I mean, when you're in pain, when you have abscesses, it freaking hurts. Um, that pain medicine won't really do anything for you that much because it's just like pressure buildup, and if you don't take care of it, you can get like sepsis because it's essentially like a buildup of pus, so you don't want to get that into your bloodstream. But anyways, if anyone has any questions regarding fistulotomy, feel free to email me or message me. I highly encourage you to join a fistula group. If you just search on Facebook, you'll find it. There's many people on it. There's a lot of people with questions on recovery time, what to expect, because truthfully, even my doctors, they don't tell you what to expect. And I had a pretty simple one, it's tightening. It was the same procedure all the time, which kind of gets to you, because you're like going through pain every 2 to 3 weeks. And I was like, man, I would rather have had like one surgery to address this. But anyways, people who have had more, but the reason I had to get the cutting seton is because they don't want to cut through your muscles. Like they would have had to go in 3 inches, and that would have cut through all my muscles. I would have had incontinence for sure. So they decided to do the cutting seton, which is their normal process. And a lot of people actually don't do that. Most of the people in the group get the fistulotomy or the flap or whatever, which I'm not familiar with. Other people who have gone through it, they will tell you of their experience, their downtime, wound maintenance, etc., stuff like that, how they cope with it, what kind of cushions they recommend you to sit on, how many days or weeks you should take off of work, stuff like that. My doctors kind of told me, but it makes a big difference hearing it from people who actually have gone through this, because they know what the pain level is going to be. They know what you're going to be able to withstand or not withstand. They're going to be able to give you the advice on what is a better stool softener, what's going to help you with fiber, etc. One thing I learned from this process is, you want your stools to be soft. When you're taking painkillers, that makes your stool so hard. Like, that's why I try also not to take it, because hard stools is like the worst thing when you're having like a cut or whatever in your anal area. It's like you want things to be soft and come out like no pressure, where you can't feel anything. Hard stools is like one of the worst things. It is the worst thing you could have coming out of your butt when you're in pain down there. So I personally didn't take any stool softeners. I only took fiber supplements like Metamucil, and then I was trying to eat a bunch of fruit and veggies. And another thing, be hydrated. You have to drink a lot of water. Like I remember times where I didn't drink enough water. Bad. Really regret it. But yeah, time for recovery. I'm going to go take a nap now and hope that by the time I wake up, this pain will be gone.